Hello everyone! Welcome to Coffee, Love, and Books. I'm Michelle and this is my reading vlog. I'm doing this one a little bit awkwardly because normally I start on like a Monday or Tuesday and go through Friday, but this week it's a Friday today and I just didn't have much to say on Monday or Tuesday, so I'm starting now and hopefully I'll have this out by like next Wednesday or something. So yeah. I'm just gonna go, well, I have a few things to talk about in this reading vlog, but what I'm gonna do, first things first, is the books I've been reading so far. I've actually, I'm gonna go over the ones I've done not much of, and then I'm gonna go over the ones I've been really focusing on, just because honestly at this point I'm so invested in To All the Boys and Hero of Ages that I'm kind of just focusing on those two, but the other ones I've been taking little bites out of and I need to get more focused on them, so that's my goal for this week, to at least read more of Phantom. The first book I guess I finished was Mistborn and it was absolutely wonderful. I talked about it in my June wrap-up and I'm just in love and it's so good. So I went on straight to Well of Ascension. Please believe it's Well of Ascension. It's not actually. It's Hero of Ages, which I got from the library because I needed to read a book like one of these books physically this month. So basically I was focusing on Phantom. I'm like 21 pages in now, which is like decent for this book. I need to be focusing on it more. I eat it up every time I pick it up, but I need to pick it up. So yeah, Phantom, I'm loving it. It's wonderful. I just need to pick it up more and just get it read. The next one that I was focusing on at the beginning of this month was Little House on the Prairie, and I'm an okay, well, like I don't know if I'm gonna finish this book this month, even though it's like very much printed for like children, but I was reading it and it was so easy to read. And I didn't feel very motivated because of these two books. And then the other one is Mansfield Park. I only read a few more pages of this. I'm on like the page 28. And it is so good. Like, I've heard not amazing things about, well, I've heard that Mansfield Park shouldn't have this many pages for its story. So I'm a little bit nervous, but so far I love it. And I think it's just so charming and beautiful. And yeah, I'm really into it, but I need to read it. Okay. Oh, there's another one that I just threw on top of my TBR because I did. I don't know why. I was doing a like big craft kind of thing and I needed an audiobook to listen to, so I started listening to The Shack. I can't remember who it's by. The Shack is a book about a man whose daughter was murdered and his interaction with God. So, and just him figuring out a relationship, like things about God, and it's very much about the nature of God and all this theological stuff, and I really enjoyed it so far. It's so smooth and it's so like touchy-feely, and I know so many people have loved it. I know a lot of people who have also said that it's a little bit shallow, and like, I've really enjoyed it so far, especially the audiobook, and it's really made me think about a lot of different things. Okay, so, and I'm almost done with that. I only have like 2 hours left on the audiobook, which is like 1 hour because I'm listening to it at 1.75 speed, so yeah. Okay, now the two that I've literally been reading all the time, like all the time. Mostly Well of Ascension. Please believe that it is Well of Ascension. I've been reading it so much, like every day for hours at night. It's insane. And when Well of Ascension gets to be too much for me, I balance it out with All the Boys. And I am like, I used a tissue as a bookmark. It's really sad. I'm like, over halfway through To All the Boys, and same thing with Well of Ascension. I'm like, I don't know, 60-something% through it, and I'm loving them both. I guess I'll go over Will of Ascension first. Will of Ascension is just very, it's not, I haven't liked it as much as I liked Mistborn, but I think that's more, I don't want to give any spoilers, but there's definitely a lot of focus on politics and morality that there wasn't necessarily in the first book, and I don't know. There's something about being the underdog and, like, you know how in, like, the first act of Hamilton, oh man, that's kind of spoilery. Okay, spoilers, like, kind of. They're not huge spoilers, but well, yeah, they are for the first book. If you haven't read the first book of Mistborn, skip to whatever timestamp there is. Okay, so, you know how in Hamilton, where the first act is, very much the revolution, and in the second act, Washington says, I believe, it might be the first act, but after the revolution, Washington says to Hamilton, winning was easy, you said, and governing's harder. Well, that's like what Well of Ascension is. Like, that can all be wrapped up in that one quote. And it's just, it's crazy. I just don't love, like, I still love the book, but it's so much harder for me to not get frustrated because it's not on overthrowing the big bad anymore. It's on keeping power and having to, like, push at the will. It's just not something that I love reading about, so it's been harder, but it's still really good, and I don't know. I think Hero of Ages is probably going into more of the adventure stuff and less of the keeping rule kind of and keeping people alive kind of plot. So I'm excited. I still have really loved it, and it's just been a roller coaster. But when I get really frustrated with Well of Ascension, because it is just, it's wonderful, but it's frustrating, I go into All the Boys I Loved Before. So this book is a classic, and I love it. Not the romance part. The romance part I just kind of don't agree with, nor do I really love it. But the sister story in this, I'm a sucker for sister stories. I loved Pride and Prejudice because of how sister-ish it was. Like Hamilton, Little Women, what other ones? There are other ones. But this one, just, man, her relationship with her sisters is just so strong. It has, like, amazing female friendships that are, like, other books try to obtain but just don't. And I absolutely adore just reading about Laura Jean because she's so interesting. I don't like the romance. I think it's, I don't know. I'm not at the end yet, so I don't know how they're going to execute it. But seeing the movie, I just really am not a fan of the romance. And I kind of want her to end up with the other person. But I don't know. I've really enjoyed it, and I think the characters are so alive. Like, they're people I know in my own life, and the relationships are so real. And the main character, she's kind of a liar. Like, she has bad habits of doing bad things, but she's mostly, like, really nice and, like, a good person. That's kind of rare to read about in contemporaries. Like, actually a genuinely nice person to follow, and she's so creative and she thinks differently, and she's strong and independent, and I've really been enjoying All the Boys. And that's it basically for how, let me see if I can pick this up, how my reading has been going so far this month. I guess I will see you guys when I check in again later on in the video. Bye. So for this reading vlog, I have a haul, I guess you could say. It's not really a haul. Well, I guess I didn't buy these books. I got them for free from a neighbor who was kindly giving away books. This is the better side to look at. He was kindly giving away books and other stuff, and I just drooled over all the free books I could get. But I tried to pick out some good ones, ones I thought I would genuinely enjoy. I read through them. A lot of them were like historical adult romances, which I just don't jive with. I don't really want to read stuff like that. So I tried to pick out ones that I thought would be appropriate, would be fun to read. And I realized after the fact that some of them, this one included, might not be the most wholesome of books. But I'm going to try to jump right in and keep stuff brief because there's a lot of these things. So this one is called Home for the Holidays by Johanna Lindsey. It is, I believe, a romance about Christmas, but there is some kind of like dark, creepy stalker stuff that I think does go on in this book. But that's just the basic synopsis of the book. I'll probably try and read this around Christmas time, but we'll see if I actually like it, because it does seem like it has some creepy, bad romance elements to it. The next one, I didn't actually see much in this in my initial look over of the books, but my neighbor said it's a really good book. So this book, I believe, is about Indian immigrants. It's called, forgive me, Jhumpa Lahiri. No, it's called The Namesake. It's just the author's name is Jhumpa Lahiri. And it's, I believe, about a generation of Indian immigrants to the USA. I'm not sure. They leave Calcutta and go to America, and my neighbor recommended this to me, so I'm going to be sure to read this really soon. It's probably like the one I'm second most excited to read out of all of these. This next one is called Trapeze. It's by Simon Maher. Trapeze, I believe, is a wartime adventure kind of story. I know very little about this book. It's one of those that has like testimonials on the back instead of like the actual synopsis. So I believe this is like a wartime historical fiction, and I'm pretty excited about this one. The next one, I lost my beautiful stack. The next one is the one I'm most excited about, because not only when I first read the synopsis did I really fall for the idea of the story, also the cover is beautiful, but A Walk to Remember, I'd heard of this movie before, and I believe this author wrote The Notebook. So The Notebook is a romance.
I think the author of The Notebook wrote Dear John too.
So this one I'm really excited about. I've seen stuff in the movie. This, I believe, is like a bad boy, good girl kind of romance with some tragedy mixed in. And I know how it ends, but I'm still excited to see how it plays out, and it does seem like a really good book. The next one is called The Alice Network, which is a story about women during World War II, I believe. No, the Great War. So World War I. It's a story about a woman during World War I. I believe there's a lot of like dark past stuff going on, but that's the basic premise about it. Next one is Portrait in Sepia. I believe this is about a colonial family. A girl who, she suffers from like amnesia, memory loss for 5 years, or like of the last 5 years, and I guess that's the base. And it's a beautiful cover, and I thought the plot seemed pretty cool, so I grabbed it. The next one is one that just drew me in because it's set in Dublin. It's called The Quintons. Maeve Binchy was an author I saw very prevalently among this stack, so I'm not certain, but I think this is a lot about like this family that was really messed up, and now we get to learn about their history. But it was set in Dublin, so I really just want to read about that setting and just all the beautiful Europeanness of it. The next book I got was this one from Better Homes and Gardens called Living the Country Life. And one of my favorite things is looking through these pictures at these beautiful aesthetic homes and just beautifulness, and it makes me so happy. I already have a book kind of like this and I loved it, and when I saw this I was like, yes! Oh my goodness, there are so many beautiful things in here, and I am so excited just to flip through it and be serenaded by its beautifulness. Okay, yeah, that's the last one. I accidentally added one of my TBR books to the stack. Oh, but yeah, these were all the books that I got. I'm really excited about multiple of these. I'm going to try to read one a month. Hopefully this will work. The one I'm definitely going to start first is Walk to Remember, followed by what was it called? The Namesake. And I'm excited, and I will see you for my end of the week checkup. Hi! Okay, so to close off this vlog, I don't have a ton to say about the books I'm reading currently. I finished To All the Boys and Well of Ascension. So I do have thoughts. Well of Ascension, I can't say much because that would include spoilers for Mistborn. So I just want to say I didn't enjoy it as much as I did the first book, but man, it still was so masterful, so just like very Brandon Sanderson. I will agree, I don't love his writing style. He's harder to read, or well, it can be a little bit of a trudge getting all of his information, but I did, all in all, really like the book, and it didn't hurt me as much as the first book did, but it wasn't afraid to take risks and kill people off and show the consequences. And I honestly, it's at the point where everything's so out of control. I cannot conceptualize a way they can win this. Everything's so political and crazy, and I just, like, I love it. And Hero of Ages is just, I'm gonna go straight into it because I'm about 100 pages into Hero of Ages, and oh, wow. There's a lot of setup, a lot of gloominess, sadness. I cannot say spoilers, even though I think I did earlier in the vlog. But anyway, it is just so out of control, so hard to, like, you can't come up with a fix-it situation. Like, it's such a big thing they're fighting against, and I am really, really enjoying the Mistborn trilogy. It is totally going up there with favorite fantasy series, favorite series. Like, I'm just loving it, and the first book totally won my heart. But, and the middle book had a little bit of middle book syndrome, but it still had very impactful things that I don't think I've quite registered yet. And I am really hoping that the end of this book blows me away, because this series has been incredible, and even though I'm still like loving the first book way more than the second book or the start of the third, it's just, still, this whole series is so masterful and amazing, and it's amazing. I love it. Okay. I'm gonna go back and talk more about it. Sorry, I just remembered some things. So the characters aren't the strongest. They tend to fall into somewhat archetypal, and I will say that I wasn't brought to love the characters that were killed off in the middle book as much as I wanted to. Is that a spoiler? Just know that Brandon Sanderson kills characters, and I didn't love them as much as I did in the first book, but it still was just an amazing, like, the characters, I still hurt for them and I still love them and I still want them to be okay because my main character wants them to be okay, even if I'm not their biggest personal fan. Alright, on to the next one. So the other one I finished was To All the Boys I Loved Before. And I've been in the strangest reading and movie watching mood. But I enjoyed this book so much. This book was just so enjoyable for me. Being the same age as her, like understanding her emotions and just getting a peek into her family life and her just amazing relationship with her sisters was so cool. And there were things that were unrealistic, and because I am her age, I can say that does not happen. And it was, but all in all, 4.5 star, I guess. It was just so, like, thoroughly enjoyable. I just loved it so much. And maybe it was just because I was reading Mistborn, which was so, like, blood, gore, and death, and this was just, like, rainbows, butterflies, romance. It just, they balanced each other out really well. And I can't, other than, like, how much I just really liked this book and enjoyed it, I think it was the right time for me to read it. That's just, I loved it. And I don't know if everyone's gonna love it because it's very, like, predictable, but the character is so quirky and so original, and I love it. Even though I don't quite like the way the romance ended. Okay. And on that note, last night I watched the movie again because I really liked it the first time. Didn't like it as much after reading the book, but then I went straight to Pride and Prejudice, and I've been rewatching the Lizzie Bennet Diaries, and I'm just in the strangest mood, y'all. I'm going back to all my favorite, like, romance media, and I really want to reread Pride and Prejudice, and I will soon. Okay, last one of note. Well, I have made more progress on The Shack. Don't have much to say about it currently. I still really like it. It's so easy to absorb. And Phantom. I did not make too much headway on this one, a few pages, but I love it and I'm going to keep going. I just having trouble with Phantom currently because it's just, it's so amazing, but so is this. And so was this when I was reading it, and my attention's been being pulled so much. I'm at that point in the month where I'm just dropping things from my TBR. I'm like, nope, not getting that done. Oh well. And I'm fully committed to these two puppies, The Shack and the other. I'm gonna work more in Mansfield Park because I really like it, and then try to read more of Enemies in Love, because I did not give it enough of a chance. But yeah, this is what I read this week. This is what I finished. Not Hero of Ages, but this. And I'm almost done with The Shack, and I really liked it this month. It wasn't like last month where I felt super accomplished, like I was getting all these things done. I felt like I really got to go with the flow this month, and it's almost over. This is a really late vlog. And I'm going to try to put out more content this week because my just whole schedule has been off. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful week and go into August. And I will see you next Saturday or sooner. Bye.